Hey everyone, Wanderbot. Oh god, right, we were. Alright, let's get our poopers working. Alright, yeah, welcome back to Fallout. God. Damn, this sucks. Alright, whatever. We'll be fine. I don't even care about unassigned settlers right now. They have not been relevant to what I've been doing since more or less the moment this quote-unquote challenge started. I feel really bad. Oh, interesting. Shift locks me in place for placement here. That's really strange. Okay, there we go. That's probably good enough. Still looks a bit wonky. Nah, how the hell are doorways supposed to work here? I mean, the other alternative is we just give up on doors. Oh no, it works now. Interesting, I guess I just had to leave the game. Okay, so now we've got doors on all of these. Do I already have a door here? I do have a door here. I wonder if I have automatic doors that'll work. Okay, let's store this. Let's try an auto door. But what? 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 Okay, auto doors work. Perfect. So technically I can use that for things. Can I use the shower? The answer is yes. How do I not use shower? How do I stop? Okay. What was that? I cannot equip... hi. Okay. Oh. Oh, this is Prabble. Turns out we somehow fused that with the wall. Did I do that last episode, or did some of this shit just happen? You know what? I don't know. To some degree... I also don't want to find out. I guess I must have, but seriously doesn't feel like I did. Alright, whatever. Anyway, we've got, as far as I can tell, functional. Okay, can I use the private shower? Okay, so fun fact, these shower curtains don't do anything. I am also legitimately curious about what this actually looks from the outside. If only because I need to know if I need to scrap the whole thing and... Oh. Oh no. Okay. So we have bad. I can't go into workshop, but... Oh, yes, I can. Okay. Okay, I don't know if anybody's going to be using that shower. Let's operate under the assumption that nobody should be. Oh, this is some broken nonsense. But you know what? Whatever. We got our poopers working, so now we can go power lights. Miscellaneous. I think they were under miscellaneous. Yeah, there they are. Okay. So what do we want to do here? You know, maybe I'll have just a regular light here. We'll have like 2. Plus maybe a 3rd? No, let's go with the great lighting right here actually. I'll have to jam it up into the correct positioning, honestly. But that should surprise nobody, seeing as that's what we did like for all of last episode. Okay. I might actually get rid of those central lights, or just leave them. It kind of looks like lights cap out after a certain point, and that's probably okay. Okay, there we go. Bit on the bright side. Wonder, can we have... Do we want to try and, like, put a light in here? in this, like, middle zone. Let's see. Oh, good. I can deal with it while crouched. That's nice. Okay, I think we're good. I'll have to see if it's centered. Oh, hey! I'm actually kind of in permanent crouch mode here. It's actually really quite handy. I'll keep that in mind in the future. Okay, so let's just do... reset my lighting position? That's annoying. I really wish I could actually almost, like, sort this manually. I really wish they had actually gone with, like, a better sandbox design for this. I know they did this specifically because console. But, like, it couldn't have hurt that badly to design multiple, like, just a couple different interfaces for PC. Actually, I can't believe nobody's modded a new UI along the way here. Because I know Skyrim has a really good one. And I'm a little bit surprised. Oh, hey, the windows look a lot shittier now that we have the... Hi, Packbot. He literally does just teleport in. The moment I get out of workshop mode, I got it. Okay. So I'm gonna merge these with the ceiling there. A bit low for my taste, for obvious reasons. Because it doesn't really make sense to have all of your lights just like sticking, I'm gonna say about 5 inches below. Okay. Let's just put that there. OC Remix is on point tonight, by the way. Or I guess this afternoon. I've been meaning to stream this lately, but the combination of my usual multiplayer stuff and No Man's Sky has more or less made it almost impossible. Which is weird. Because, like, you know, I wasn't expecting I'd be as hooked into No Man's Sky as I am, but I liked it a lot. And now I'm kind of, like, burned out on it, but let's be honest here. Who isn't slightly disappointed by the game? I'm having a lot of fun with it, but boy is it barren. Oh yeah. Should actually use these wall lights more often. They actually look pretty nice. Sadly, they don't work so hot on the ceiling here. Subway light, no. I'll just do this. Just have it slightly below the pipe. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's get rid of this one for the time being. It'll be a bit dimmer there, but I think it's for the best. And this the entirety of this area is relatively bright. All right. Let's just keep scooting. Okay, I still haven't finished that one. Let's just do one of these here. I'm just in permanent scoot mode because I went into the workshop while crouched. Didn't realize that would be such a hilarious limitation here. But I guess it is. Now, playing this is actually making me really want to go back and get my Skyrim, my comically stupid Skyrim run working again. I don't know. I like Bethesda games. I like that they're so moddable. I'm a huge, I guess I'm gonna say mod addict. And, oh, I see. I'm a huge mod addict, and so, like, if a game is directly moddable, I personally don't mod anything, just because lack of time. Like, at some point I might make something that, like, you know, like, make a character that looks like a Wanderbot. I'm probably gonna do that specifically with, Afterbirth Plus, I believe. And it would be fun to do some more things, and I've actually had people in the past specifically, like, sending me artwork of, you know, the Wanderbot design in different scenarios, or not different scenarios, but, like, you know, different games and stuff. But it's just kind of like fan arty stuff, and it's like, cool, but somebody just sit down and mod me a character. Nah, I don't know. This is me being, like, really lazy. I could totally do it myself. It'd be fun. Maybe I should have done that for, yeah, I really should have done that for, Starbound, actually. Made a custom Wanderbot glitch head. Because I bet I can almost guarantee that would fit perfectly in. It wouldn't take too much effort. I'm just a lazy man. Or more per se, I'm an incredibly busy person. That's the other reason why I haven't been able to stream this lately, and I know quite a lot of you guys have been actually very insistent on me streaming it, and it's just so hard. Yeah, I really need to move these staircases. That is terrible placement now that I'm looking at it. But, like, you guys have been super patient, and I'm really sorry that I haven't actually been, like, putting out as much as I have been. I know a number of people have actually even been asking for King of the Wasteland back. I'd really like to go back to that, and I probably will. But honestly, I think I'm gonna go back to King of the Wasteland. After I move, for sure, just because I don't have time before then. Oh, that's from the wires above. I was wondering why stuff was going, you know, dropping sparks above me. I might have to completely rethink that, that whole upper office trap situation. Dunno. We have a lot of options for it, it's just currently not great. This is the med bay, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll have to figure out what I do with that. Let's see. It's interesting that a lot of the light is actually carrying over from above. Oh, interesting. Didn't realize that I hadn't put windows in here. Because I guess that makes sense. I'm just scooting. That's okay. Let's see. But yeah, no, I'm stupid busy. I'm sure I've mentioned this on like every series by this point. But I'm in the midst of not prepping to move out. I'm moving out. Whether I like it or not. I guess more so whether Shell likes it or not. She's definitely a little bit more on the skittish for moving side of things, but I mean it's okay. But I mean, if you've never moved before, it's usually kind of a stressful ordeal, and can't blame her for that. But so yeah, I'm moving. Today's Sunday. I'm moving on Wednesday, and we're spending a short period of time with Shell's family, and then we're continuing on to Kansas. And I'm actually super excited for it. And like a lot of people are like, "Why the hell are you going to Kansas?" And the answer is they got Google Fiber and relatively cheap rent. So I'm kind of excited to have Google Fiber in a cheap apartment that, you know, it's all my own. Originally I was gonna split an apartment with Sebastian SB, my good buddy, but it's really hard to coordinate roommate situations, and then, you know, Shell and I had to move sooner than later, and eventually it's just like, well, this ain't gonna work. Yeah, sorry, man. And we're going from there. But I mean, it's okay. It's not like I left him homeless. But I definitely do have some small amount of, like, I'm gonna call it guilt. For not actually following through with that original plan. Originally, you know, we were gonna move out together because living alone's expensive. But I've been incredibly blessed by, I guess, you guys. Let's put like a legit light straight in the center of this ceiling, I think. Like I've been so lucky that a lot of people have, you know, come out and, you know, found my series. Like, I could never in a million years have guessed that Never Leave Sanctuary and Never Leave the Vault would be as successful as they are. King of the Wasteland's a little bit less so, but that's just because it doesn't... I mean, it's not as marketable-ish. But yeah, I totally lucked out, and I'm totally, like, ultra thankful that such a thing happened. Store that, actually. And let's do another one of those mounted lights. I'm trying to get, like, a little bit of standardization here, and it's not quite perfect. I could also do one of these. Nah, I like these better. They look nicer somehow. But yeah, so I've been, like, absolutely one of the luckiest people on YouTube. Probably, at least in my opinion. And so I actually can afford to move out on my own now. So, like, instead of being, like, poor as shit and starving, I'm actually kind of okay. And that's, like, a whole new thing for me. Because, I mean, let's talk real life for a little while. I worked at Nickelodeon for a while. And then... I lost that job, which, I mean, fine, whatever. But, you know, I lose that job, and suddenly, you know, where's my income? And I'd started my YouTube channel, I think, 3-4 months prior? Oh, God. This... The hell's this? Huh. Utility 3-way is not pretty. There's this, like, weird kind of chunky pillory thing, but I guess it'll do. Let's see, we've got auto doors in the rest of this, right? At least enough auto doors that it's kind of worthwhile. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so for me, I was real poor, and, you know, I was doing job applications and stuff, and eventually got sick of it. I had a bunch of bad interviews, that totally, I'm gonna say, kind of totally ruined job hunting for me. I actually flew out to San Francisco for an interview with a company, and, you know, I was like, all right, I'm desperate. I've wanted to go to San Francisco since I found out, you know, Keith's there and stuff, and, you know, maybe I'll be able to get a job. Problem is, it was probably a scam. It wasn't like a scam interview, but it was a working interview. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you guys ever hear the words working interview with a job application, unless you're like super desperate and really can't do anything else, run. Not even run, just say no. It's not worth it. I flew out there, which cost, you know, several $100s. It was not a cheap trip. And, let's see if I can get this to be a bit more flush. There we go. It was not a cheap trip. And, you know, I had a hostel, which was only like 20 bucks a night, which was super nice. And stuff like that. And, you know, I made it work. And I get there, and I'm at the working interview, and they don't even talk to me. Beyond, like, a little bit. And, you know, I don't know if I interviewed well. There was no feedback. There was no reason why I was rejected from the job, just whatever, and that's fine. But, you know, I'd spent so much money to fly out there, and they didn't once say, like, by the way, we're mostly just exploiting you for free labor, because the reason why working interviews are bad is because the way working interviews work are, you go, you show up, and you work for them for one day, and, you know, try and prove your stuff. And so for me, it was a QA job. It wasn't even an art job. I was pretty desperate for work by that point. I was pretty desperate for work by that point, and, you know, anything would do. Yeah, he just spawns from the ether. That's, I mean, it makes sense. Okay, but yeah, I was desperate for work by that point because, I mean, trying to get this cat. But it looks like we're out of luck. Let's see. I can switch these. Did you do what I think you did? He did. He walked out of the goddamn room. What a dumbass. Alright, whatever. But yeah, so I showed up and I worked for them for 1 day. And then that was it. And then I waited around a week because, you know, I'm in the middle of San Francisco. What am I gonna do? You know, I didn't want to fly home, wait for the response, find out that, hey, you know, you got the job. Why is this cat glued to my face? So yeah, I just stuck around. Okay, this is really bizarre. Okay, is it F3? Well, it's actually kind of perfect. Sort of. There we go. We good? Okay, I'm gonna call that good. But yeah, so I get there, I worked for the day, and then I stuck around, which was fine. You know, I spent a week bumming with a friend and hanging out with Sebastian SB and Andrew from Sad Games. I guess at that point they were both Sad Games, but still. You know, let's put this away. It's dumb. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be using this door. Or we'll just keep it. I'll just put an auto door. Yep. Directly below the doorway. Thank you, Fallout. Let's see, there we go. We've got this, so now we've got this situation, which is actually okay, because I wanted to have a staircase here anyway. Oh, you know, I might be able to extend this into the next floor. Come to think of it. But yeah, so I hung out there. Oh, god damn it. I hung out there, which was really cool. But then I get the, you know, rejection, and then I have to fly back, and it was a waste of money. And to be fair, you shouldn't, like, expect to get anything, ever. So expecting to get a job from that was, I would say, I was sorely mistaken, and, you know, should not have assumed that I would be so lucky. But, you know, I had some hope, and it was definitely not, a a wise plan doing what I did, but whatever. But like that just sucked. It was a lot of money, and it wasn't worth it. And it was kind of just this like bad experience learning situation of, yep, nope, just don't apply for jobs in the future, I guess. But I think it was about that time. We don't want to store a bridge, or do we? Oh, we do. Actually, what we want to do is not store the bridge. We want to move it down. And keep doing the stairs. There we go. So now it's in the right place. I'll have to reorganize this. I might actually just turn this whole section into stairs. I'll think about it. Okay, let's just do... Maybe we want to do something like this. Because it turns. Yeah, there we go. And then I can have upper floor stuff. And then I can have this around here-ish. Okay, there we go. And then I'll have the staircase coming up the middle. And we'll get rid of this entire bit of the catwalk. Because this looks so much nicer having the staircase going around the outside than cutting through. I liked the idea of having kind of this, like, sky bridge thing. But that's... It's not great. Not in execution. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I got burnt from that, and then I also applied for the Brawlhalla people, which meant I spent a weekend working rather hard on a, I spent a whole weekend working rather hard on a, Brawlhalla stage and a couple of characters and stuff. And, you know, I was super proud of what I did, and I personally think it was pretty good and on par. They ended up not hiring me, and that's fine, except for the fact that, you know, I'd spent hours and hours and hours and hours poring over this effectively unpaid commission. Don't work for free, people. Even if there's a promise of maybe getting a job at the end of it, I don't know. The problem is it's like, it's endemic to the industry. Which I think is kind of the worst part about it, because I didn't really have a choice. I couldn't just say, nah, I don't feel like doing your art test, because then I don't get the job, period. And like, there are definitely artists that like don't have to do that sort of thing, but I was not one of them. I am not one of them. And I think I'm just like, I was kind of sore by that point. And then I had like a couple other interviews and stuff. Just like a series of disheartening, not even failures, just failures to launch. So by that point I was just like, alright, I'm done. This is looking really nice. I kinda wish there was a better transition between this grading. Honestly, I actually really wish this could just be the floor. This like cross grading stuff. Because this is nice, but it's not great. We need to move our crops, by the way. Oh, but look at this. Okay, so let's get back up. Let's get the staircase going the rest of the way. Might be able to put a floor down, come to think of it here. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get, let's turn workshop, oh, we might be able to, no, we don't want to do that anyway, it'll look really weird. Okay, there we go. But yeah, but by the end of that, and there was like one more, interview that I did, but it was kind of not unmentionable, it didn't matter, in comparison to those two. We got the snap. You know what? Let's get rid of some of these blocks. Cause yeah, if I can have the staircase coming up here, this is gonna look real nice. There we go. And then I can just have walls on this side or something. Yeah. Okay. Probably get the rails in first. No, let's get the floors in first, otherwise it's not gonna quite work. Originally I kinda had this square and I didn't move it over. Do I want to do that? Or do we just want to have walls on this side? Hard to tell, because my alternative is putting something down like this. And we'd end up with the a little bit of the girder bits in the way. Store that one. Let's pull this forward. Like, we got a little bit more space here, but I'm not sure if I like that. I'll probably put the ceiling over it in retrospect, just so we can fill it in. And go from there. Yeah, this looks nice. There's a couple of clipping issues, but like, not enough that it's a big deal. If I could, I might. Okay, let's store this, let's store this. Let's see if I can put in that corner piece. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of the girding in, but barely. And we're all good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I don't know, it was just a series of bad interviews and bad jobs, and it sucked. And the industry kind of sucks, and stuff like that. And ultimately, like, whatever. I probably would have gotten it eventually, but, at the end of all these bad interviews, I got really lucky. Vagante was already out. Sort of, but it hit Steam, and I was like, alright, let's give this a go. Vagante seems really fun. And it was a lot of fun. And I was like the only person that covering it. I think Northern Lion had done a video, and that was it. And I was like, perfect. You know, A+ opportunity for me. And it was. And then Bisnap started playing it, so there was a big old boost. Actually, I've not heard of Bisnap in a while. I wonder what's happened with him. Because I know he was really big with Isaac, and then poof. But that's true of like a lot of YouTubers. They get famous for something, and then maybe they burn out on it, or anything. I mean, I know specifically I definitely have some amount of fame from Scrap Mechanic, even though like everybody does at this point. I mean, people are still watching me for it, so I guess I'll keep doing it for a while. But yeah, so there was Vagante, and then I started playing Cavern Kings, and Catacomb Kids at about the same time, and except for I think Rockly Smile, and maybe a bit of Splatter. No, Sleep Cycles, I think. Sorry, I have some amount of competition and stuff, and it's like, except for those guys, there's like no real competition with those. So I'm like, all right, I more or less have free reign to play these as much as I want, and everybody was like flocking to me. Then after a couple of months of that, and like there were some other like pretty big series that did really well, freaking Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop showed up. And to be fair, at this point, it's still a pretty popular series, just in terms of like past views and stuff, but I think it's kind of slowly dropped off, but that's understandable. Not every series can be famous forever. But I got really lucky because like a bunch of those big YouTubers like Markiplier and whatever started covering that, and I was like, oh damn, suddenly all of my videos like blew up really hard, and I was getting like 1,000, 10,000 views per video, and it's like, surprise, you're actually not a shitty poor YouTuber anymore, even though I was a shitty poor YouTuber at that point. Like, I started monetizing my channel when I had 1,000 subs. That was kind of my like imagined starting point, and I didn't want to do it before because I figured, you know, no ads on my videos is going to mean people are more likely to watch me. I actually don't have any conclusive proof on that. I just figured it was a sensible decision at the time, and I'm just gonna stick with it. Also, even at 1,000 subs, I was only making like $40 a month, and then eventually it was like 100 or 2. Don't worry, we'll get back to the whole Sebastian SB thing eventually. But probably gonna want to just build around this rubble and then over. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Still don't know exactly what mod gave me this massive area boost. I'm super happy to have it, but I have no idea which. I also need to update my mod list. Sorry for the delay on that, guys. But yeah, so I was really poor, but around this time I started making comments to Sebastian SB a little bit more seriously about like, hey, let's move out and stuff. And, you know, he's like, well, eventually. Because obviously, you know, starving to death is bad. And he was older than me, and I think I had to deal with his own like health insurance and bills and stuff. So, is that the top of the tree all the way here? Wow. But yeah, so he was kind of like eventually, and so at the beginning of the year, it was very much like, oh yeah, we can definitely move out pretty much whenever now. And then it was Wanderbot doesn't need financial assistance in moving out anymore. I always feel a little bit guilty about that, because I think I will always feel a little bit guilty about that, because, you know, we've been planning on it for so long. But at the same time, like, when you gotta move out, you gotta move out. And I did not have the time or the luxury to wait. Okay, here we go. So it's not perfect, but yeah, this dumb crack system is kind of annoying. I wonder, is there a doorway that I can put on this thing? There is. Will it fit? It'll snap. Okay. Does it look bad from the inside? No, it actually looks great and seamless. Okay, there we go. That way we don't have that, like, awkward crack along the way. And we've got a staircase that goes down. I should probably go back to lighting this, but you know what? Actually, we're in a pretty good stopping point. So I'm gonna get around and I'm gonna fix the staircase. And by fix, I mean get rid of the staircase. And then I'll go back to expanding this one up. We won't have anything that crosses the center, but I think I'm okay with that. Somebody had left a kind of hurtful comment on one of my videos saying, you have the ugliest vault I've ever seen anybody make. And I'm like, look, I have to record this, so I can't, like, just go silent and, like, show back up on the next episode and be like, here's what's changed. Actually, I totally could. If I really wanted to. I don't, though. Let's get rid of this. Let's see. This is not going to work. We need the other railing. I'm actually going to have that match the I'm going to have that match the topography here. Why? I don't know. It just feels appropriate somehow. Okay. So we want to get rid of this. Oh, right. This is the awkward setup. Well, Bethesda, you could have done better than this. Move that. Okay. No. Yes? I feel like I'm listening to a 65 Days of Static. But it's Smash. Alright, you serious? It's serious. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I guess let's finish off the staircase setup here, seeing as this is the kind of last major thing. Okay. I don't think I'll have it connect. I might not. I can always just move it down a bit if we do want it to connect on this side and, like, give me an entrance somewhere. I'll think about it. But either way, we've got ourselves a nice, fancy staircase on both sides. It doesn't match up perfectly, but I think it'll be okay. I think this is a good entry point. There's a lot of space here. I could tier it some more. I'll think about that. I think next up, what we're probably going to want to do is go back to lighting this place up the rest of the way. And I might see if I can get a proper... Oh, fuck. Look at how bad this is. Oh. I guess that was actually a really easy fix. I just saw it being uneven. You know, that might have actually been the offending piece for why everything was not synced up properly. It definitely looks like that was the originating section from for why everything was broken and dumb looking for a while. I don't know. One way or another, though, I will see you guys in the next episode of Fallout. Never leave the vault. And as always, thanks for watching.